World leaders wilding, men are confused, and people just out here doing anything. We're going to talk about it. Let's get it! Welcome. First of all, welcome. This is Unsolicited Perspectives. I am your host, Bruce Anthony, here to lead the conversation in important events and topics that are shaping today's society. Join the conversation and follow us wherever you get your audio podcast. Subscribe to our YouTube channel for our video podcast, YouTube exclusive content, and our YouTube membership. Rate, review, like, comment, share. Share with your friends, share with your family, hell, even share with your enemies. On today's episode, it's a sibling happy hour. I'm here with my sis, Jay Andrea. We're going to be breaking down why the world feels unhinged, why men are confused, and why your friends probably shouldn't be driving. But that's enough of the intro. Let's get to the show. What up, sis?
What up, brother?
I can't call it. You hit me up last night. You said you wanted to rant.
Yes.
I'm going to give you the opportunity to rant.
Yeah.
But I'm going to give the audience a quick breather before we start leaning in. Because I'm going to be real honest with you guys. The first two segments, it's going to sound kind of angry, but we're teaching you something if you want to listen.
Yeah.
If you want to listen and learn, we're teaching you something. But before we get to that, I was on my second favorite social media site today, Threads.
Mm-hmm.
And a woman posted, "Men only. Tell me about the time that you broke up with a girl that you really liked."
Oh,
and
boy.
One of the posters posted this. I'm paraphrasing because I lost the post. He said,
Okay.
"I knew I had to break up with her when we was outside and she spit on an unhoused person. That unhoused person started crying and I felt incredibly bad. I gave the unhoused person $20 and I broke up with her right after we had sex in a 3-year relationship."
You know, honestly, sometimes people just ain't worth a damn.
Not at all.
And that's two people that's not worth a damn.
No.
So
okay.
they deserved each other. They saved us for 3 years.
3 years.
From having to deal with two people who ain't worth a damn.
Ain't worth a damn.
Yeah.
Not a damn. Okay. I wanted to do that little thing as a little palate cleanser before my sister goes into a rant. So, Jay, the floor is yours.
I don't know that it's so much a rant because truly it is a rant. No.
Yeah, no, it's a rant because you sent it to me yesterday. So
yes.
It's a rant.
Do I remember all of it? You might be able to fill some things in because I was in the middle of the rant to myself alone. And then I said, I gotta send this to you. So the rant was triggered by a Instagram reel.
Mm-hmm.
And it was some infotainment show. I don't know. It was two British gentlemen and an American woman.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And the start, like the prompt for the discussion was, there are a lot of men out here who feel like women's expectations are too high. They want a man of 6 figures and 6 feet and all of this. Bop, 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 bop. Her argument was, no, our standards aren't too high. You all are inept. I've been on dates and y'all are not emotionally intelligent, let alone emotionally available. You're not going to therapy. You're not healing. And the other guy just goes off, right? No, women are delusional, right? And that's the problem. She's arguing, no, women just have a choice now. They can just say no to you. Like we don't have to be with you. And it made me think about particularly people in the manosphere, but really anybody that hides behind, in my opinion, like, say, for instance, the folks at the manosphere, I feel like they hide behind this idea of traditional gender roles and masculinity and alpha male stuff to hide the fact that they suck.
Jay, did you read the
Yeah.
rundown?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're talking about all that stuff in the second segment, right?
Yeah. So this is going to lead into that.
Okay. We got a long way
this
to
is-
go before we get into the second segment, but I thought
Yeah,
the
but-
rant was that people suck.
Yes, this is what the rant, I just said that.
Okay. All right.
I said they're hiding
I'ma shut
behind
up.
these things because they suck.
Right.
And that
Okay.
we need to start telling people that they suck. Like, we need to really start telling people, hey, this doesn't have anything to do with you being a man. I don't hate men. I got 2 grandfathers that I loved, a father, brothers, uncles, cousins. I love men. I don't like you because you suck. You're a garbage human being, and it has nothing to do with the fact that you have a penis. What it has to do with is the choices that you are making. The choices that you're making on how you want to live your life and how you want to interact with the opposite sex. But you suck. Your character, your heart, it's trash. It's garbage. You're a garbage human being. Your soul looks like a small lump of coal. You are terrible and you're horrible. And here's the thing.
Not terrible and horrible.
Yeah, both. We have to start, because one comes from terror, the other comes from horror. You think it's the same thing? It might be. I don't know.
I think just keep going.
Okay. But what telling people that they suck does, for people who actually hear it, right, and really kind of like internalize it and really sit with it, which a lot of people don't do. But what telling people they suck does is it triggers the question in their minds of, now that I know I suck, now that I know I'm a trash human being, am I going to continue to suck? Or am I going to do something else so that maybe I suck a little bit less? Because what I was telling you in the rant was, there is a male loneliness epidemic, not a female one. Mm-hmm. In fact, the research is showing that single women, compared to women married to men, live longer and report higher contentment across every area of their life. Men, on the other hand, when single versus being married to a woman, when they are married, they live longer and report higher contentment. So you see the inverse relationship there? Mm-hmm. We don't have to say yes to you anymore. We can actually have our own bank accounts and jobs and homes and all of these things. So we just say no. And here's the thing. We're not going to argue with you no more. Ladies, I appreciate y'all that's been in the trenches arguing people down. Like, hey, no, treat us like human beings. And I'm not talking about the larger political issue of sexism. I'm just talking about people's crappy behavior, okay? So we don't have to tell them anything anymore. We can just keep saying no. Because the question that I really wanted to ask those guys that were on the panel was, as you're yelling at this woman about how women are delusional, I want them to really ask themselves rhetorically, do I look attractive right now? To the female audience that's watching me, do I think I look attractive to them? Or are they going to continue? Or are they going to look at that and say no? The longer that you stand in a corner crying, woe is me, and pointing the finger at everybody else except looking at yourself, the lonelier you're going to remain, because you're choosing not to change, because you are choosing to suck. Women do not hate men. They hate you. You specifically in particular. Not you, Bruce. I'm talking to the audience. You. If it applies to you.
Yeah, if it applies to you.
If it applies to you, they talking about you. Okay? Just like how it's like that saying, not all men, but always a man. Right. It's you. You're the problem. It's not all men. It's you. You suck. And as long as you continue to suck and not listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth about how just piss poor of a human being you are. And this is not reserved for men. I want to make that clear. Like I said at the top, this can go for anything. You can say you're in MAGA, right? Oh, people hate me because of my political leanings, because I'm Republican, because I'm conservative. No, people hate you because you suck. Because you made choices that are harmful to other communities and honestly harmful to you. You're a garbage person. That's why we don't like you. It don't have nothing to do with your political leanings. I could not care less if somebody is conservative. Okay? But when you choose to align yourself with somebody like Trump, like you made that choice, that makes you trash. That is the reason why you suck and we don't like you. And when you go abroad with your MAGA hat, you get all of these intrusive questions and stuff from the folks in whatever country you're in. I saw a lady on Instagram upset. She went on a trip to Ireland and everybody kept asking her who she voted for. Meanwhile, she never said in the video who she voted for. So that we all know now who you voted for because you won't even say it out loud. Because even you know you suck for making that choice. We need to start telling people they suck. We got it.
I heard everything that you had to say, and I agree with like 99% of it.
Mm-hmm.
I just want to point out.
Yeah.
I often talk about how much I love telling people about themselves, and you be saying that I'm wrong. But now you're saying it's okay to tell people that they suck?
No, I don't ever say that you're wrong. What I say is you consider your opinion to be the objective truth. So to the point where you want a superpower where if you slap someone, then they think the way you think.
No, I didn't. I never said think the way I think. I never said think the way I think.
The choice that you want them to make.
No, not that either.
What is the power? Please
the
explain
power
it to me
is
again.
to
Because
make
it was
them
dumb.
think. No, the power is to make them think. I slap people and make them think. The reason why you're upset and they're calling these people trash is because they don't think. That's what's annoying to you because you have all this evidence that's presented to you.
Yeah.
But you don't want to examine that evidence. It's like these people that are no-vaxxers, right?
Yes.
Years of research goes into it. You didn't even pass high school chemistry.
Right.
But yet you're going to tell me vaccines aren't effective. And then when I ask you, okay, explain your position to me, you tell me, look it up. No, because obviously you looked it up. Explain it to me because you didn't look it up. You're regurgitating somebody else's thoughts that you think is right because you want to believe it. And my problem is you're not thinking for yourself. And so that's what I want. I want the superpower to when people come up with these, and even myself, I want to be able to smack myself every now and then. Luckily, I got you and other people in my life that verbally smack me and say, hey, is that the way you want to be thinking about this?
Right.
Like everybody does it. Everybody should be held accountable. I just want the superpower because I feel like I recognize it a lot when people ain't thinking. Like when when I ask people, how'd you come to that? And it's not logical. Prime example, I had a conversation with a gentleman yesterday. Or the other day, a couple of days ago. In the conversation, we talk about Malcolm Gladwell's book, 10,000 Hours. You do something to become proficient at it, become like good at it, right?
Malcolm Gladwell, the king of common sense, yes.
Yeah. And then he was telling me about another book that he read. And in this book, the guy says people aren't born with talent. It's basically people work harder and other people make excuses. Now, part of that I do believe in. Part of that is people work harder because the example I always use in basketball, Tracy McGrady and Vince Carter had more talent, skill, athletic ability than Kobe Bryant. Kobe Bryant maximized all of those things because he worked harder than everybody else. But they were
Yes.
still born with talent. So when they
Yes.
said nobody's born with talent, I said, that's ridiculous. There are people that pick up an instrument the very first time and can play it. There are
Yeah.
people who can
I
draw.
just started singing at 5 years old.
Yeah. I was like,
I
and then they started moving the goalposts, and they started saying, well, people that can sing, they got an extra tooth and something in the background. I said,
I have the same number of teeth.
Yeah, I was like, you're saying a bunch of bullshit right now. I was like, let's get back on. People are absolutely born with talent. I was like, if people weren't born with talent, then why are some people faster than others? And he was like, oh, well, now you're starting to get into eugenics. I was like, I don't think you know what you're talking about. Eugenics is a psychological philosophy that basically white people are more superior intellectually and physically, and that they should keep on breeding those higher individuals to create the greatest genetic human being. Now, part of that is genetics, because people can, attractive people can meet together. Two professional athletes can get together and create an offspring. They're more likely to create an athletic child, but there's still no guarantee. But the point the reason why I was getting frustrated with this person, and then I just said, why am I even having a conversation with this person? This person's an idiot. And the reason why I said that to myself is because they're not thinking. I'm hitting them with logic, and they don't want to be wrong, or don't even want to think that they could possibly be wrong.
Yeah.
So they're combating me, and I'm like, and you're moving the goalposts with your argument. What was your main argument? It's like, you don't even remember what your main argument is. I want to get back to this thing where people aren't born with talent. That's a ridiculous statement. I was like, people are born with higher IQs than other people. People have a certain capacity that they have in academics. Not everybody is Albert Einstein. That was a talent. I was like, what you're saying is ridiculous. And then I said something a little mean. I said, the only reason why you're saying that is because you haven't found your talent yet. And so since you haven't found your talent, it's easier for you to say, you aren't born with any talent, and it's just about working hard.
Yeah.
And that is a part of it, but that's not all of it. Some people are just born.
Yeah.
Some people are just born with talent.
Yes. People are born with talent. Hard work can overcome a lack of natural talent, right? But the truth is, some people are, it makes me think automatically of, the Olympic swimmer, Michael Phelps. They've done studies on his body shape and how he's like perfectly designed to swim. And that was the body that young man, well, he's my age, that man was given. That was what the body he was born with. I don't know if both of his parents were athletes, neither here nor there. Yes, some of it was obviously honed through his hard work, but your natural physiology, his natural physiology just being perfectly suited to swimming, just what happens. Yes, it's hard sometimes to acknowledge that. Some people are born with talent, and it's like, and you're like, I didn't get that. I can't play basketball to save my life. Now, it's true that I could probably practice and get decent, but I'm never going to the WNBA.
No. And that was another
argument. I don't have
argument.
the hand-eye coordination.
That was another argument that I had with him, that he said, you could do anything and be anything that you want to be if you just work hard enough. And I was like, that's not true. I know that people said that. And that's probably something nice that you want to say to your kids to not damper their spirits and make sure that they have some ambition and drive.
Yes.
However, there are some things that you just can't do. Guess what?
Do it.
I'll never beat Usain Bolt in a race.
No.
It'll never happen. There's nothing that I could do physically. Well, I mean, if I want to give myself some metal legs, I don't even think steroids will help me. But it doesn't matter how hard you work. Look, some people are just smarter than I am. Some people have a better aptitude with, like, could I be a lawyer? Probably. I think I could be a lawyer. I don't think that's an unattainable thing. Could I be a surgeon? No, my hands shake.
Yeah.
My hands shake. I can't be a lawyer.
It's just the way it is.
So people do suck,
Yes.
But you understand why people suck, though, right?
It's one of two things where I was thinking back again about that reel and those two gentlemen that were
By the way,
antagonizing
it
this woman.
was GBN News. It was gbmnews.com/your say, and it was a young lady and two men. And the thing when I saw the reel that really pissed me off, when they asked, well, what do you do to make yourself, what do you think men should do to make themselves better in your eyes? And she just listed off a couple of things: be more emotionally intelligent, go to therapy. And the guy says, that's what women do. Men don't go to therapy. And to that man, who is an idiot, an imbecile,
and he sucks.
Yes. If you don't want to make yourself better, you're right. Don't go to therapy.
Yeah.
If you want to be better, because men are always like want to be the best. If you want to be the best man that you could be, why would you not want to improve your emotional intelligence? Makes no sense to me. I want to improve every facet of me that I can, mind, body, and spirit, to maximize my potential.
Yes.
So that's what everybody wanted to do. Maximize their potential. Be the best person that they could be.
So that man sucked for one of two reasons.
Okay.
Either one, he truly believes what he's saying.
I think he believes what he's saying.
Or two, he doesn't, and he's saying it for the money and the likes or clicks or whatever. He's saying it for the fame. Either way, both of those things, you suck. Yeah. Because either you're being ignorant or you're being willfully ignorant.
Well, no, it's ignorant, willfully ignorant, and greedy.
Right.
Yeah. But, people are greedy.
But I wish I could
sell
have
themselves
asked,
out for money.
I wish, and homegirl was, I applaud her. Again, I applaud the women that's in the trenches really trying to educate. Okay. I applaud anybody that's in the trenches really trying to educate, but we got to stop. We got to stop. Because honestly, what I would have said in the calmest voice in that moment would have been, do you think you're attractive to women right now? Because they're watching you. We're on television. Yeah. This is going on social media. Do you think you look attractive? No, you don't, because you suck.
All right, we're going to get more into men and dating. But I told y'all, ladies and gentlemen, because we are only doing one show a week for this month, because I need a little bit of a break, that the shows are going to be slightly longer, not this damn long, because we're still in the first segment. And we got one other thing that we need to get to in this first segment. And it's about another person who sucks. Our favorite suckiest person that we love to talk about because they suck so much. Yeah, is the current commander-in-chief president of the United States, Donald J. Trump. Why does he suck? All right, this month alone, Donald Trump
this month, y'all.
Just this month, and we're filming this on tax day. This is dropping on the 17th. Yeah, halfway through this month, this is what he done. All right, he done started a public feud with Pope Leo the 14th. After the Pope criticized the U.S. military actions towards Iran. He posted a Jesus AI image. Then he took it down because of all of the backlash. But then later said, he thought it was a doctor, not Jesus. And you know what? No.
He posted himself as Jesus. Yeah, you say he posted a Jesus image. It wasn't just a Jesus image. It was himself.
It was him as Jesus, and then he tried to say, I thought it was a doctor.
While your hands are glowing.
Back. But you know what, though? I don't think he knows too much, iconic Jesus type of stuff. No. So he might have.
Nope.
But that was all after.
That's not the prompt he put into the AI.
That's true. This was after Easter, because on Easter, he sent out a True Social post where he was talking about taking out the whole civilization of Iran, bombing it back to the Stone Ages, taking down bridges and power plants. Ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
That's what he did within the first, this is before the 15 days. I'm going to say it's the first 10 days. First 10 days of the month of April.
It wasn't a full 2 weeks, y'all. Into the month.
Talk about sucking. Now, Look,
he sucks.
how in the same week? Actually, Easter was when? Easter was the 4th, 5th?
Good question. I don't know. It was a Sunday.
Because this was
Sunday.
actually all in the span of 7 days, now that I think about it.
You know what?
Easter
You
was the
are
5th.
correct.
Yes, Easter was the 5th.
This was all in the span of a week. Correct.
This was all in the span. Last Jay-Z said it was all good just a week ago. This was the span of a week. And in this week, the man that certain Christian rights say is as important as Jesus, some have even said that, right? They are praising him like he is the second coming. My man, on Easter, before he says Happy Easter to everybody, he has risen. Before he does any of that stuff, he said, I'm going to take out a whole civilization and bomb them back to the Stone Age. That's the first thing he puts out on Easter Sunday.
Not to mention he ended that tweet with praise Allah.
Yeah, I forgot about that. He did say praise Allah. Then the Pope say, hey, look, I don't like what's going on in Iran.
Yeah.
It's not too cool. He attacked the Pope. By the way, this is the second time that he attacked a clergy member. They called the clergy member down to the Pentagon to say, hey, look, don't be talking about the administration. And that clergyman was saying, hey, look, I'm going to say whatever I got to say because mine is divine, my divine text. And then after all that, right? After all that, then this man posts himself as Jesus.
Yeah.
Wow. And for those people who are part of the religious right that knew it was blasphemous, y'all still riding for him? Like, still?
No, they're not.
So,
a lot of the reporting that I'm seeing is people, especially MAGA and the religious right, are pissed.
Well, he had to take it down. They made him take it down.
This is that, and I feel like that's the first time he's ever retracted a tweet.
Nah, he took down after a while the thing with the Obamas.
Yeah. Oh,
I mean, he eventually took that down.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, but that wasn't this month.
That was last month.
Yeah, it might have been the month before that. I don't know. I can't keep track with him.
Can't keep track.
I can't keep track with him.
It's unhinged. It's unhinged.
Everybody was out there talking about Biden. And look, as somebody with speech impediment, I'm scared to death to get older because I saw Biden and I was like, that could be me. Some of that is just your mind moves faster than your words can get it out. And when your words do come out, it's all mush mouth, milly mouth. Yeah. And it's going to get worse. Mine gets worse if I'm just tired. There are sometimes I'm filming this show, I'm just tired and I can't talk. So I don't know. But everybody tied that to him cognitively sliding and he's getting older. So yeah. But no, I mean, you hear people on the left talking about, yo, you see these things? You sure this ain't dementia? And it's not getting talked about. The people that ride for him on the right ride for him no matter what. They not backing down.
But that Jesus depiction, him depicting himself as Jesus, that riled them up. Now, they still suck because taking away abortion rights or SNAP from children or bombing children or and civilians and all of that, grabbing people by the such and such and all that, none of them Epstein files, none of that turned y'all away because y'all suck. Because y'all are trash. This did it. Well, for some of you. This didn't. Oh, well, this is blasphemous. This is where I draw the line. That's where you draw the line?
I mean, blasphemy is a big deal. But it got to get to that point, is what you're saying. That there's a whole bunch of points ahead of time where you could have drawn the line. It didn't have to go that far. And I gotta tell you, now I don't know Jesus personally. I have a relationship with God, but I haven't met him. No, right? So I don't know. I can't say. But I think that before he looked at a picture of
somebody depicted as him, he would probably hate our treatment of undocumented persons, of children, of women, of the poor, of people of color, of Palestinians, of Iranian. You would probably hate that stuff a little bit more than an AI generated photo of someone pretending to be him. So the fact that that was your line, the bar's in hell.
Well, you know what I say. It's really tough for people to take that A word into consideration.
What word?
Accountability. That's
Boy.
real tough for people. That is extremely tough.
But that's what telling them that they suck does. And you do have a point.
Sometimes.
And so I reiterate, if they hear it, right? Because a lot of times you could tell people they suck and they're still going to default back to, well, you just hate men.
Mm-hmm.
No. Well, you just hate that I'm conservative. No. Well, you just hate that I'm white. No, you suck. Mm-hmm. You as a person. So if they really do sit with it, then that's when they have to ask themselves the question, am I going to continue to suck or am I going to try to suck a little bit less?
Yeah. Well, all of that whole segment is a perfect example of people wanting power without accountability. And guess what? We touched on it a little bit in this segment. We're going to talk about it more. Dating right now is built on that same contradiction. And we're going to get into that next. Are continuing of ranting about how men suck. By and large, not every single one of them, but generally speaking.
Clarification.
Okay.
It's how people suck.
No, but in this segment, we're talking about how men suck.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, this is the men suck. This is a men suck segment.
Got it.
Please don't make me say that again. I feel like I should be saying, never mind, because this ain't Cameron and May show. But men
just say suck trash if you don't want to. Just say trash.
Trash?
Men are trash. Let's just say that.
Yeah, men are trash. All right, what am I referring to? A Newsweek report highlights a global survey showing Gen Z men are more likely than baby boomers to support traditional gender roles while simultaneously valuing ambitious, career-driven women.
Mm-hmm.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. They want to maintain traditional gender roles, but they go after the ambitious, career-driven women.
Why? Because they still want to go 50-50.
Yes. So, Gen Z men are showing unexpectedly traditional values about marriage and gender roles in a 23,000 person survey across 29 countries. Gen Z men were more likely than baby boomers. I have to stress that again. More likely than baby boomers.
That's insane.
Right. To say a wife should obey her husband and that a husband should make major decisions. But the same group also showed a contradiction, like I said earlier, because many Gen Z men said women with successful careers are attractive. The article frames this as a sign that young men's attitude on gender are more conflicted and less predictable than expected. Before I get into the raw numbers, Jay.
Yeah.
I knew something like this was happening because the Manosphere is created by Gen Z men. Maybe some millennial men started it. Gen Z men are expanded it. They've created them. They've made themselves incels. There's a lot of women-hating men, more than normal, because there's always been a lot of women-hating men. Now, men will say, I don't hate women. I love women. You love the physical nature of them.
You like sex.
Yes.
With a woman.
You
don't like
her. What she has to say. It's always a running joke.
Yeah.
Like, oh, here she come, get ready to talk again, get ready to ask questions. I'm like, bruh, if you don't like talking to your woman, you don't like her.
Yeah,
like,
you don't like her. It's that old, take my wife, please, kind of thing. Like, it's that old, it's a very old story, right? Mm-hmm. Of like, you marry a woman, but you don't really like her. You wish she would shut up. The honeymooners, he threatened to punch her to the moon.
To the moon.
Every episode.
Every episode. Look, I remember I was dating this woman. She's still a good friend of mine. We always had great communication. Like she was just one time, it was actually the day that we broke up, which is funny. It had nothing to do with what was going on earlier that day. We sat in her living room having drinks, just talking for 8 hours. 8 hours. We looked up and we was like, yo, we got to eat. We haven't eaten since breakfast. And and it didn't feel like talking for 8 hours.
Yeah.
A woman that I was hanging out with in the fall, she would call me and we would talk on the phone. You are my sister. You didn't know me all your life.
Yeah.
You know I hate talking on the phone.
You do.
Don't call me. She would have me on the phone for an hour. Didn't bother me because the conversation was engaging.
Yeah.
I like women. I love women.
Yeah.
Some dudes would be like, man, why you always like the women and everything? Because I like women and you hate women.
Yes.
If men didn't have, the autonomy wasn't different. Okay, hold on.
Mm-hmm.
If men didn't have penises and women didn't have vaginas.
Right. Okay.
Men would have no use for women.
Correct.
I'm speaking
aside from in the capacity of a maid or,
Yeah, I'm speaking of those men who hate women. Right?
Yeah.
And it seems like a lot of these Gen Z men just hate women. Now, like I said, I feel like the Manosphere started with millennial men who couldn't get no women. Right?
Definitely did, yeah.
But these Gen Z men have taken it to a whole nother level. Part of it is they don't know how to talk to women. And communication is an issue with Gen Z because they communicate differently. Look, ladies and gentlemen, when I wanted to rap to a young lady when I was younger, I had to go up to her blind and talk to her.
Yeah.
There was no DMing. There was no texting.
You couldn't pass a note. Left or right.
Yeah, you couldn't pass a note because notes, this is a toxic thinking for back in the day, but only women passed notes. Men couldn't pass note and be like, hey, do you like me? You had to go up to her and be like, hey, I want to talk to you. Doing that, passing and failing, you hone that ability to talk to women.
Yeah.
And you realize being turned down ain't the worst thing in the world. Right. Have I been rejected? Of course I've been rejected. Not that often. Not that often.
Again.
Thank you, Mom and Dad. Not that often. But appreciate you more than you realize because I see some people out here. I see what's out here in these streets. That's the reason why I'm single, because I see what's out here for the picking. But like you get rejected. It's not the end of the world.
Mm-hmm. Go ahead.
And then you realize that you have to be engaging. It's easy to be engaging when you text and you can think about what you want to say before you send it out. When you right there in full effect and you talking, you can't take long pauses and be like, oh, what I want to say right here. No, you got to have a conversation. So you got to be quick-witted. And women like men who are quick-witted.
I think you just can't suck. Like you just gotta have a personality. Like, and that's just something you develop. But I'm gonna push back on that, honestly.
Okay.
Because Gen Z women also grew up in this same environment.
Mm-hmm.
And communication is also an issue, but like not to that extent. Right? There's more things at play. It's what you said that I specifically want to hit on. You have to be engaging.
Mm-hmm.
And engagement comes from your personality, your character, your values, your beliefs. If those things suck or don't exist, then you are not engaging.
Right.
And talking to you is a chore. And so I'm just going to leave you on red. Case in point.
Oh, Lord, here we go.
Fellas, please stop. Like, I want you to really honestly make a concerted effort to not text WYD. Don't do it. Do not text WYD. I don't know any woman who gets excited seeing that text. One, because we already know you don't give a damn about what we're doing. Because you didn't even take the time to make the question specific. You could have just said, how was work today? I know you had that presentation. How did it go?
Now saying how was work today is just as generic as what you're doing. But paying attention to what's going on in their life because you actually care.
Yeah.
And saying, yo, not even saying how did work go today? Yo, how'd that presentation go today? How are you doing today? How was that presentation?
Is Cheryl still tripping at work?
Bruh, do you realize when women understand that you are actually listening and paying attention to them, that is an aphrodisiac? They are more...
the draws fall.
And not just because you lost weight.
No. But if she thinks that you're listening because you are, right? And if she thinks that what's important to her is important to you because it is, draws fall.
It is way more likely in life that you will see a unattractive or average looking man with a knockout.
Every single white sitcom show about a family.
Right. How often do you see a knockout man with an ugly or an average woman? Rarely happens.
You don't.
It rarely happens. Like you will, because I've done it a few times.
Yeah.
Not ugly, but average. I've done it a few times. But
when you see it, like people call it out, but nobody says anything about King of Queens.
No.
Right? Nobody said, hell, I talked about The Honeymooners. This is really aging me, even though I wasn't alive when the show was actually on, but I watched Nick at Night.
You were a zillennial. That's what happens. Yeah,
I'm a zillennial. Like, what was her name? Edith?
Edith was the neighbor's wife. Judith?
Well, something, I can't remember the line, but bop to the moon, whatever. She was a dime.
Mm-hmm.
He was a schlub. Like,
was just a bus driver.
Yeah. Nobody ever says anything. Alice. That's right. Yeah. So Alice was a dime.
Mm-hmm.
Could have done much better. But instead, the times being what they were, she had to make a choice. And the choice was get married to this jerk. Because at least he's got a city job. Like, right.
I want to get into that, but I want to give some of these numbers.
Okay.
So this survey, funny, was released on International Women's Day. So that's funny. 31% of Gen Z men say wives should obey husbands. That obey thing, just wow. Yeah. Versus 13% of baby boomer men saying that.
That's considerable.
Boomers.
Yeah.
Baby boomers, okay?
That's considerable.
33% of Gen Z men say men should have the final say in major decisions, versus 17% of boomers. Mm-hmm. Women across all generations largely reject these views. So it don't matter what generation a woman is living in. They say, this is stupid.
Yeah.
But the baby boomers, who you would think would be the most toxic, most stuck in those toxic masculinity ways.
I would say that isn't the case, particularly now, right? Because a lot of these boomers have millennial children coming of age.
Mm.
And a lot of millennials are in therapy, like, and creating new dynamics with their parents. And a lot of these boomers are now saying, hey, I think what I used to do back in the day really wasn't cool.
Yeah.
because my kid just hit me with some logic that I can't refute.
Right. Possible influences as the reason why Gen Z men are starting to move towards this. Social media narratives, that manosphere, culture wars, and modern dating frustrations. Now, I want to have a larger conversation about this. As I was preparing to run down, something kept rolling over my head, and it's a theme that goes on in these shows of these people that have these, where you talk about MAGA, these people that are wrapped up in these ideologies that don't want to think.
Yeah. And wrapped up in harmful ideologies.
Right.
Yeah.
And I go back to that video that you sent me where the men were complaining that women were asking for too much. And what women were essentially asking for is for the man to be emotionally intelligent, attentive, have something engaging to say, just anything. Right? And
kindness, compassion.
These are actually small asks. These aren't big things. Like the men started making these ridiculous statements. Oh, you got to be above 6 feet and make over $100,000 a year. And there are women who say that, but they're the minority. Don't apply that to the larger generation, because that's the larger population of women, because that's not what they're asking for.
Right. Stop
taking these outliers and saying this is the thing. It's not. And it's a tired trope that a lot of these people are using, and they're using it because they don't want change.
Yeah.
My building during COVID closed the pool. Why? Because it was COVID, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's a privilege. It's a luxury. Do we pay for it? Well, I mean, I guess it's included, but it don't have to be included, right? Like it's something that was taken away for a justifiable reason, to stop the spread of COVID.
Yes.
People were up in arms and angry, and I get it, because you couldn't use the pool. Something was taken away from you.
Yes.
But for good reason.
Yeah.
Patriarchy is being taken away from men. They're growing up saying this is the way it is, and it's not that way anymore.
Yeah.
And this isn't a situation where it's like equality. It is something being taken away from them. Now, I'm not condoning the selfish nature that they are living, but it is something that's being taken away from them, and it's tough to reconcile with something being taken away from you.
Yeah.
When it's giving somebody else their dignity,
humanity. Yeah.
Humanity.
And honestly, you got to ask yourself too, what's being taken away?
I'm gonna get to
that. Well, I'll give you my opinion.
Okay.
What's being taken away is the privilege to act like an entitled toddler.
Okay. So that's leading me into to this. So people aren't complaining. Women aren't complaining. They're saying this is the standard.
Yes.
And why it's so difficult for men is because women didn't have a voice before. Let me explain. I have this older client. Her mom was even older. Her mom loved me, right? White people. Her mom loved me. And I genuinely had affection for her mother.
Yeah.
Mother was from the South, and Black Lives Matter protest happens after Michael Brown is killed. Now, for white people, seeing Black people in the street angry and frustrated, it's a shell shock. It's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
Never mind the fact that white people do all the time for things that are trivial, like you're being taxed on your tea or you lose an election. You'll do all types of revolts and destroy things. We'll
or
tear
your
up
team loses a game.
Or wins a game, right?
Yeah.
And she told me a conversation she had with her mother, and I pushed back immediately. And what her mother said was, we used to go to concerts all the time, and there was never any problem. I said, do you mean during segregation? You mean when y'all were on the floor and the Black people were on the balcony? but we were there all enjoying the music together. I was like, no, they didn't really have a choice. They didn't
Mm-hmm.
say anything, but trust me, they hated it, or else you wouldn't have had the civil rights movement. They
Yeah.
couldn't say anything because they would die. Women couldn't say anything because
Yeah.
killing your wife at a certain time in this country wasn't a crime.
It
You wouldn't
only
even be
became
charged for it.
illegal, I believe, in the 70s, 60s or 70s. It was when it became illegal to keep your
Matricide.
wife. Yeah.
Yes. Like so.
No, that's killing your mother.
Matricide. Oh, what is it when you kill your spouse? It's something. Y'all know what I'm talking
No,
about.
but I mean, being physically abusive only
I'm talking
became
about
illegal.
murder. Yeah, I'm talking about murder. Like
Yeah.
you could kill your wife, and I want to say as early as the 50s.
Are we supposed to be saying like code words?
What are you
Like,
talking about?
are we allowed to? Because I know some people, they use code words like unalive or something like that.
Oh, you talking about for YouTube?
Yeah, or just
Yeah,
in
I don't
general.
know.
I don't know. I don't know what the
YouTube will flag
semantics
it.
are about anymore.
Yeah,
So,
YouTube. If I can't, YouTube will flag it. But
all right.
I'm not going to let it derail me. I'm back on my point.
Okay.
The reason why you see so many people from marginalized communities, whether it's people of color, women, people in the LGBTQ plus, speaking out more, fighting for it, is because they can now. Because now, if they get killed, it's a thing.
It means something
where it means something.
Thing before.
Yes. So when people are saying people are so sensitive now, no, they're not. People are just speaking up.
Yeah.
They've always had these feelings.
Always hated it.
Always
hated it.
But not able to say anything about it. And for those people who are still not grasping what I'm saying, think about what you say as an adult to your parents. The boundaries that you set that you would have never done as a kid because you couldn't as a kid, but you can as an adult.
Yeah.
So when I give it to you in that context, now place yourself and how you feel, setting those boundaries for yourself with your parents or your aunts and uncles, anybody that's older than you that you know that you wouldn't have been able to do when you were a kid.
Right.
That's how these groups are feeling. Stop complaining that people are saying that doesn't make me comfortable.
Yeah.
And if you feel attacked, it's not them. It's you. You're the one in the wrong here.
You suck. I'm not. That person's not the problem. The person who you are harming with your words or actions is not the problem. Being Black is not the problem. Racism is. Being a woman is not the problem. Sexism is. Being gay is not the problem. Homophobia is. Like, that's the people who are being marginalized, the people who are being harmed are not the problem. You suck.
Yeah.
And you are fighting for your life to continue to suck.
That's crazy work. That's crazy
insane.
Work. That is crazy work.
That's insane. And I mean, fighting for your life. It's the hill the guys in the Manosphere, boy, it's the hill they will die on.
But once again, I understand it. Don't condone it. I said I understand it because people don't like change. People really, really do not like change.
Yeah.
Even if it's for the better, they don't like change. And so there's always going to be some pushback when there's change. But damn it, evolve. That's what evolution is.
Yeah, going back to this Gen Z story, though, I think the conflict there with they want ambitious, career-driven woman because they want to go 50-50, but they still want control in the relationship because they want to be an entitled toddler. Like, that distinction, like that contradiction has always, I think, existed in the patriarchy. And I'll explain why. And this is largely like how you have men who want relationships but don't like women, which is also a contradiction, right? It's because what they're taught about masculinity is that it is the antithesis of femininity.
Mm-hmm.
Not only that, anything feminine, you saw the guy in that reel I sent you.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I don't go to therapy. Women do that. Anything feminine, they're supposed to abhor. They're supposed to hate it because it is contradictory to what is masculine. So why would you like the person who embodies the traits that you hate? But patriarchy also tells you you need a wife to subjugate, or else how is stuff going to get done around your house? Right? So marry, but hate her. And that's when you get these sitcoms and all this stuff where it is clearly a very harmful, very toxic relationship where my God, I mean, he hates her. Hates.
Still talking about honeymooners. Yeah. But there are other shows.
There's other ones. There's plenty of others.
They're typically old though.
They're typically old.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah. A lot of the new shows are not portraying things like that.
They still, like the shows of the 90s and early 2000s, it was just more men don't hate their wives. They like them, but they're just inept. They can't do anything around the house. They don't know how to do anything with the kids. They can't. I just saw a clip from King of Queens, actually, where he came in the kitchen and asked his wife, where are the scissors?
Yeah,
and she said, we've lived in this house for 20 years. The scissors have always been in the same place, and yet you always ask me where they are. What if I died? Would you be in here, unable to cut anything, crying in a corner?
She was fighting for her life every episode because he couldn't do nothing right.
Couldn't do anything.
You know what TV show broke that mold? The Bernie Mac show, because he was doing a lot for such a masculine man.
Yeah.
Who Bernie Mac was. Nobody ever questions his manhood. He was cooking, he was cleaning, he was taking the kids all over. So I love that Bernie Mac. God rest his soul. But you bring up a really
It's always been contradictory. So now the new messaging is, hey guys, don't spend any money on these women, but they need to be doing everything you say. So get a woman with money, but also one that you can boss around. Like, it's always been contradictory. But now women are being like, no thanks.
Yeah.
Well, these women, this feminism is making them not want me. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, you're correct.
You gotta be better. You gotta be better. The old, just having a job is not gonna cut it no more, playboy.
No.
I know that's what your granddaddy did. I know that might have been what your daddy did. It ain't gonna cut it no more because women out here outpacing us in everything except for wages, where they're still getting paid less for the same job, but they out here taking them. They got it. Yeah. They don't need us for that. They don't need us they don't even need us for the physical aspect because these damn toys. Let me tell y'all something.
Listen.
Let me tell y'all,
they don't ever get lost down there like some of y'all do.
Let me tell you something, man. All they need to do is get about 1,000, 2,000, maybe 3,000 good men. Freeze their sperm. They don't need us no more after this.
Yeah.
They don't need us.
A lot of women are choosing to be single women by choice, because if I'm already going to be a single mom, I might as well be a single mom by myself instead of being a single mom with a spouse who just doesn't do anything.
But before we end this segment, I just got to say this. I am one of those emotionally intelligent men that has gone to therapy to better himself and to do all those things.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of times out there, women ain't ready for a man like that. They say they want it, but they ain't ready. So yes, men have to get better. But women, when you ask for it, you better be ready to accept it.
Yes.
Because accountability I'm going to hold myself to is the same accountability I'm going to hold you to.
Absolutely. Anybody can be trash.
Yeah. Or suck.
Anybody can suck. Anybody.
But I don't know if it's ignorance, ego, or just plain delusion. But when you look at dating right now, it just might be all three. Jay, speaking of women who know their worth and are looking for that emotionally intelligent man,
Mm-hmm.
I have a friend of mine. She told me a story earlier today, and I said, hey, I'm going to let you know I'm putting that on the show. Because, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, to give you some context,
Okay.
this is a very attractive woman.
Okay.
Face card
You
will
leaned
never be declined.
very close to the mic
No,
when you said that.
she is a very attractive woman. She's a personal
Okay.
trainer.
Mhm.
Body is bananas.
Just T. Got it.
Face card never will be declined.
Always goes through. Got it.
Funny, the whole nine. I know her because we live close together, same neighborhood, and I love her dog. And her dog did used to love me. I guess he don't be seeing me enough anymore. But anyway, so we just became friends.
Yeah.
So I forgot why we're Instagram buddies and neighbors and friends and all that stuff. We were sending reels back and forth about something. And she said, I got to tell you the craziest story that just happened to me the other day. I said, okay, what happened? So she's walking around my neighborhood with her dog. So she got her headphones on, just vibing to her music, loves R&B, loves old 1990s R&B and
It's
burning
the best.
incense and burning incense, right?
Yeah.
So she's walking down the street, minding her own little business, and she's got her headphones on, and she's recognizing this dude is yelling out the window to try and get her attention.
Mm-hmm.
She's not paying no attention to it because she's walking her dog and vibing to her music, but this gentleman is not stopping. Well, this gentleman was so enthralled by her whole being that he got into a car accident. A major accident. It wasn't a small accident. He was so busy driving, looking at her, trying to get her attention, that he literally, and it's the main strip. So I live right off of a main road.
Yeah.
And it was that road. And it caused an accident that backed up traffic for a mile. She said it was like it just was dead stop because it was a major accident. I said, you out here causing accidents? She said, Bruce, it's crazy because he wouldn't stop staring at me. He wouldn't stop looking at me. He just drove into the car and crashed his car. I was like, wow, that's crazy. She said, oh, I didn't tell you this other story. I said, what other story? You got another story? She was like, yeah. I was in my neighborhood walking her dog again, and the cars were coming opposite, right? Okay. So she was walking in the direction of traffic, but on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
And she saw the car coming, and the person kept looking at her and smiling, looking at her and smiling. So much so that they weren't paying attention to the road, ran up on the curb. She said she had to pull her dog real fast because he almost ran into the dog. Ran up on the curb, blew out his tire.
Wow.
Steady looking at her.
Yeah.
Blew out his tire.
Yeah.
Didn't say nothing. Peeled off with a blown out tire. Drove down the road a little bit more. Lost control again. Blew out his other tire running into the curb.
Jeez.
And I said, girl, you need to put yellow caution tape around your entire body as you walk down the street.
She's not the problem.
She isn't the problem. She is not the problem.
Yeah.
But she should just wear baggy clothes. Look at me being a toxic man.
It does. If she is as attractive as you say, it's not going to help. It's not going to help.
Right, because the face card is not going to be declined. And don't get me wrong, like I've been driving and drive by like, God damn, that's my favorite word. When I even accidentally say it out loud.
Yeah.
On the elevator, did it the other day.
Oh, listen, I'll be like, dang. Like, right? No, I get it. Yeah.
Okay. This happened on the elevator on Sunday.
Okay.
This is young lady that lives in my building. She's attractive. Too young for me. I got to be 20 years older than her. Yeah. Maybe 15 to 20. Too old, right? Yeah. So I would never hit on her.
Yeah.
But she got on, and like in my building, people are always going down to the little shop to get coffee or whatever, and people will walk around in their robes and their pajamas all the time. I don't understand it.
I don't.
But
Yeah,
that's
but
just me. So she was
do
wearing
you?
pajamas, but she was wearing House Party 2 pajama jammy jam pajamas.
Oh, okay.
So for those people that don't understand that, they're pajamas with pajama top and then shorts.
Yes.
She got on the elevator. She was like, "Hey, how you doing?" I was like, "Hey, how you doing?" Because she knows me because I see her in the gym all the time.
Yeah.
She pushed a little button, turn around. I said, "Damn." Said, "Everything okay?" I said, "I got a sharp pain in my hamstring," and just like just kind of flared up. She was like, "Oh."
That's the great thing about being over 40.
Well, she don't know
Nobody.
that I'm over 40.
Well, I
Well,
mean, but
probably
the
is. She
thing,
probably
that's the
seen
great
it.
thing though about being over 40, because you can say stuff like that and they be like, "Ah, my sciaticas." And they want, "Oh my gosh, are you okay?" Yeah, I'm all
My
right.
sciaticas.
My sciaticas acting up.
You got two of them. Yeah.
Yes.
No, she got on there, turned around, hit the little button. I said, "Damn." She said, "You okay?" My damn hamstring. I done pulled it. That's the reason why I'm about to go for my walk right now. Try to stretch it out.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't get you. But there have been times where I've been driving down the road and like
Yeah.
I've never gotten into an accident though.
Yeah.
And
I
she's literally causing problems on the road.
I I just, that boggles my mind because I've seen highly attractive people, but I'm not going to endanger myself and those around me to simply stare.
I think that you don't realize that you're doing it. There are times I've got older male clients will be in the gym working out and an attractive female will be in there. And I've
Mm,
got to let them know, hey, stop staring because I
yes.
know,
Yeah.
number one, there are some women that want to be stared at the gym, but by and large, women want to go in there and work out and be left alone.
Yes.
And women can feel you staring at them.
Yeah, we know. There is never a moment where we do not know.
Right.
Your eyes burn holes into, like, there is never a point. Y'all think, "Oh no, I was being slick with it. I was pretending like I was looking at my phone." No, we know. We know
I,
because of the goofy ass look on your face.
I told you about the time I was in DC. I
Mm-hmm.
was in DC and we were at this bar, and right across the street from the bar is a famous gay sports bar in Washington, DC.
Mm-hmm.
So me and our cousin come
Yeah.
out of the bar, catching an Uber to go back home.
Yeah.
And there was a couple of guys from the other bar on the corner.
Mm-hmm.
I felt, because I caught eye contact with them as I
Yeah.
exited out. I felt them
Yeah.
staring at me
Mm-hmm.
as I opened the car door. It was like, "Hey, what's going on, pink shirt?" I was like, "Hey, how you doing? About to just head on home. Y'all have a good evening."
God bless.
But
Yeah.
like, women understand that. So I tell
Yeah.
my male clients, "Hey man, you're staring." Sometimes they don't even realize
Yeah.
that they're doing it. I'm
Yeah.
hyper aware because of the industry that I've been working in and the environments I've been working in, when I was in the restaurant industry, gym, what have you, just
Yeah.
being a boss, being an executive, whatever,
Yeah.
you got to pay attention to not stare at people to make sure that they're uncomfortable. So I've trained myself to
Yeah.
do that. But a lot of people just don't realize that they out here just staring at folks.
Yeah. A lot of y'all not only suck, but you creeps too.
Hey, but you know what? We've both admitted that we are creeps.
I've never stared to the point where I would
Not
make
that.
someone uncomfortable.
Mhm.
I've never stared to the point where I endanger myself or others.
Right, yeah.
Right? Because attractive people exist in the world. Like
Mhm.
I mean, they just do. And again, beauty, all of that is a spectrum. What's attractive to one person might not be attractive to another, whatever. But everybody is going to encounter an attractive person if you have your sight, right? Like
Yes.
that's like that is what it is. So
Mhm.
it's like get a grip.
But sometimes they be so fine that you can't. And obviously, my friend, the people that done wrecked their cars, that
Yeah.
thought that she was so fine that they
Yeah.
couldn't control themselves.
That's insane.
It
And you know
is.
what? It makes me think that you see this person. I don't think that you're seeing a person. Like, I feel like you're seeing parts.
Oh
Or
yeah, no, it's all
like,
physical attraction. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah, it's all
And
physical attraction.
it's not flattering. It's not. Like, don't I mean, unless a woman like specifically wants you to notice her butt, right? Like, she got the BBL, all of that or whatever. You don't be like, dang, got a fat ass. Like, that's not a compliment, you know? Like, sometimes you could just keep it to yourself. I get that sometimes you just, it comes out, spontaneous utterance. I
You just
get
be on the
that.
elevator.
It happens
It
sometimes.
happens sometimes. Yeah.
But boy, oh boy, some of y'all are creeps.
Yeah. All right. Before we let everybody out,
Mhm.
and let everybody out like they at church. Boy, I
Yeah.
used to love it. I used to love it when the pastor would say that. Before
Yeah.
I let everybody out, let everybody go. Before we let everybody go,
Mhm.
something popped up on my Instagram feed. This dude was in Baltimore. He
Yeah.
was taking a video of Baltimore.
Mhm.
He was walking in this nice neighborhood. And in the very next scene, he was walking in a not so nice neighborhood. And
Because
I
that's how
think that
Baltimore is.
right. And I thought that was hilarious because if you don't know Baltimore, most cities are segregated in this standpoint. There are the haves and the have-nots.
Yeah.
DC is like this. You
Yes.
know where the bad neighborhoods are. They
Yes.
even give you a little bit of warnings. Like,
Yeah.
hey, be careful, because in a couple of blocks up,
Right.
it might be a problem. In
If you
Baltimore,
see Lucky's check cashing, turn around.
there are markers, right?
Yes.
There are markers that you
Yes.
start to see as you're going down the road. Hey,
Yeah.
things is about to get a little sketchy. In Baltimore, there are no markers.
No.
The only way that I can explain it is this is not an exaggeration. You could go one block, perfectly fine. Next block, war zone. Next block, perfectly fine. Next block, war zone. It is crazy in Baltimore. Now, they
Yes.
do have neighborhoods where it's just one or the other. But you
Yes.
could be by the harbor back in the day. They've changed the harbor a little bit now. But you could be back
Yeah.
in the day by the harbor and just be walking around, because my ex-wife was in Baltimore. And I was like, we would go walking around like, where are you taking me right now?
Yeah.
I'm scared.
Yeah. Yeah. It is crazy the way cities end up segregated, like you said, based on economics. Like, a lot of people are
Race.
think it's race, but a majority of the time, especially now, is division based on economics. That's really the main division, because since America is a business and it's not a country, it's a business, it hates poor people.
Yeah, it really does.
Yeah.
Really
More
does.
than anything, honestly.
Yeah.
More than anything. And they definitely hate when poor people get assistance.
You ain't never lied.
They're totally fine bailing out corporations. That's fine. But boy, don't make sure that mother and her kids can eat. She's a welfare queen.
Yeah.
No.
Jay, what do you want to tell these people before we get out of here?
Hey, listen. If my rant pissed you off, it's because you suck.
I knew you was going to say that. I knew it.
It's because you suck. Listen to me. Get real close to the speaker or the screen. Look me in the eye. You suck.
What if they listening?
Get real close to the speaker or the screen, whichever one.
Okay.
Yeah. You suck. You suck. You're lonely and people don't like you because you suck. Do what I'm telling you this out of love, because I don't want you to suck. The world will be better with fewer trash ass people. That's just an objective fact. And if my words upset you, it's because you yourself are trash.
And on that note, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for listening, and I want to thank you for watching. And until next time, as always, I'll holla. Woo! That was a hell of a show. Thank you for rocking with us here on Unsolicited Perspectives with Bruce Anthony. Now, before you go, don't forget to follow, subscribe, like, comment, and share our podcast wherever you're listening or watching to it. Pass it along to your friends. If you enjoy it, that means the people that you rock will enjoy it also. So share the wealth, share the knowledge, share the noise. And for all those people that say, well, I don't have a YouTube. If you have a Gmail account, you have a YouTube, subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can actually watch our video podcast and YouTube exclusive content. But the real party is on our Patreon page, After Hours Uncensored and Talking Straight-ish. After Hours Uncensored is another show with my sister. And once again, the key word there is uncensored. Those are exclusively on our Patreon page. Jump onto our website at unsolicitedperspective.com for all things us. That's where you can get all of our audio, video, our blogs, and even buy our merch. And if you really feel generous and want to help us out, you can donate on our donations page. Donations go strictly to improving our software and hardware so we can keep giving you guys good content that you can clearly listen to and that you can clearly see. So any donation would be appreciative. Most importantly, I want to say thank you for listening and watching and supporting us. And I'll catch you next time. Audi 5000. Peace.